Okay, in this video we're going to discuss decimal and percent basics, and like the fraction basics, this will most likely be a review but can also help with some clarification, and it's important for us to discuss before we move forward. So with decimals, the only real basics that we need to just review are what each decimal place stands for. And anything to the right of the decimal, the first place is I'll just put zeros here just so we can discuss them. We'll just go to the three places. Let's just say we're talking about the number 1 with 3 zeros, okay? So the first decimal place is, I'll do this in another color here, is tenths. Okay. And the second decimal place is hundredths. Alright, hundredths. Okay, and then the third decimal place is thousandths. Draw this out here. Thousandths. And that should be good enough for what we will be working on. But again, just a review, but what each decimal place stands for. And I want you to get into the habit. Let's just take a number for example. Let's say we had 1.5. Let's just start with that, 1.5. So instead of saying 1.5, what I would like you to start saying, so that we can talk in terms of mathematical terms and be more clear, is to say 1 and 5 tenths instead of 1.5. 1 and 5 tenths. Another example, let's say we had 1.67. Okay, instead of saying 1.67, I would like you to start saying 1 and 67 hundredths. And let's do one more example. Let's say we had the number 1.753. Instead of saying 1.753, I want you to get into the habit of saying 1 and 753 thousandths. The reason for that is, number one, it just is a better way to discuss it, to discuss a number mathematically, and it will help you remember what this actually means. Okay, if you have a 5 in the tenths place, that is the equivalent. It'll help when we start going into converting from decimals to fractions. Okay, so what 5 in the tenths place really means is, in a fraction form, is 5 over 10, which is 5 tenths. Okay, now we'll discuss this more when we're doing conversions, but if you start just saying it this way, 1 and 5 tenths, it will help you when you start converting to fractions and really understand exactly what this means. 1.5 isn't near as descriptive as 1 and 5 tenths, and I should probably clarify this because I don't want you to get confused here. What this actually means would be 1 and 5 tenths. Okay, 1 and 5 tenths. Alright, and then 67 100ths, what does that mean? 1 and 67 100ths is going to be 1, like we talked about, and 67 over 100. 67 100ths. Okay? And then, again, this piece right here is the 67 over 100, right? 67 hundredths. When you say it as 1 and 67 hundredths, it's very easy to make this jump to convert that to a fraction form. Alright, let's do our last one. 1 and 753 thousandths. Alright, so that would be 1 and 753 over 1000. Okay, and again, get used to this form, get used to saying it that way when we discuss it, and it will make this jump much easier and really help you truly understand the concept of exactly what this is saying. Okay? Alright, so let's jump to percents now real quick and discuss that. Okay, percents are very easy. When you see, if you just remember a basic rule, when you see 75%, all you have to do is to get that, and most students like talking in decimals as opposed to fractions in a lot of cases, and it's whatever works for you when we're discussing the conversion. But when you have a percent, all you have to remember as a decimal, this actually means 75. We have the decimal here, we move it 2 places, 1, 2, which then becomes 0.75, or the way we say it, 75/100ths. Okay, same. Let's do another one. Let's say we had 30%, and the way we want to talk about this is actually 30/100ths. Again, we just move the decimal place 2 places. So 1, 2, we get rid of the percent sign, and we're left with 0.30, or the way we say it, 30/100ths. And again, when you say it that way, what does that mean in fraction form? It's easy. 30/100ths, 30 out of 100. And you've already got a great foundation to work on in making these conversions from percents to decimals to fractions and anything in between. Alright, let's do one more example that's a little bit different. Let's do 115%. Okay, 115%. Again, same thing. All we're going to do, we're going to get rid of the percent sign, move the decimal place 2 places, and we're left with 1.15, or 1/1500ths. Okay, so we would write that 1/15/100ths. So if you can see, this discussion that we had over here on how to actually say this makes the jump from the decimal to the fraction very easy. And the basic rule on percent is we just remove the percent sign, move the decimal place 2 places, and we've got our decimal form, and then it's easy to make the jump to fractions. Okay, so those are just some basics, and we'll go through some more examples in future videos on making those conversions from fractions to decimals to percents and anything in between. Alright, so see you in the next video.